Tonight, we are taking a closer look at a tense exchange on Capitol Hill that cuts straight to the heart of the American economy, as lawmakers questioned Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessent. One message rang loud and clear: the economic story many Americans were promised is colliding with a much harsher reality. Before we get into the details, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you do not miss coverage like this. These decisions will affect your wallet, your healthcare, and your future.
You know, the economic outlook of the United States has soured a bit since President Trump assumed office. We've gone from record lows in unemployment, historic growth, and lowering inflation to unprecedented trade wars, volatile markets, and low consumer sentiment. And for the record, Mr. Chairman, I would like to enter surveys from consumers from the University of Michigan, a trade war impacting the shipping economy, and the OECD article on the downward turn in economic turn in the U.S.
Without objection.
Thank you. This is only made worse by the Republicans' big, ugly bill and the administration's proposed budget. I have a few items I want to raise with you, Mr. Secretary, but given our limited time, I want to focus on the projected impact of the reconciliation legislation. Economists from the CBO, the JCT, the University of Pennsylvania, Yale University, the Committee for Responsible Budget, and the Bipartisan Policy Center have all projected that this legislation will add trillions of dollars to our national debt. Experts have also projected that close to 16 million Americans will lose access to their health care, and 11 million Americans will lose access to nutrition benefits. These figures aren't coming from Democratic talking points. They're coming from economic experts with years of expertise. Yet, Mr. Secretary, you have time and again gone public and said that you dispute these claims. I believe you're a very intelligent and very competent individual. You're a Yale graduate, an adjunct professor, served as the managing partner of the George Soros Fund Management Office in London, and led Key Square Capital Management, a global hedge fund, and you're a billionaire. So the question I have is, why is it that you seem intent on disavowing any and all expert opinions that are inconvenient to your political agenda? Unfortunately, it strikes me that you are hell-bent on ignoring the warnings of any independent expert whose opinions may not serve your goals. When you worked in finance and your analyst told you that a proposal was a bad idea, I suspect that you listened to your analysis and didn't just accept the deal because the person proposing it said they were wrong and that their deal was a good deal. That would be wrong, it would be irresponsible, and it would be dangerous. I would submit that in the position that you have now, it is even worse. It's more wrong, it's more irresponsible, and it's more dangerous. Mr. Secretary, can you point to one independent study, one study performed by an expert PhD economist who is not on the payroll of this administration, that says that this legislation will not add to our national debt?
Well, Congressman, if...
Yes or no? Can you point to one?
If we want to look at the CBO, which...
No, I'm asking you, is there an independent expert that you can point to that says that this bill will not add to our national debt? Yes or no?
Yes.
There is?
Yes.
What are they?
Art Laffer.
Pardon me?
Art Laffer.
Art Laffer? Great. That, I don't think that one counts. Mr. Secretary, did the 2001 Bush tax cuts add to our debt?
Sorry?
Did the 2001 Bush tax cuts add to our debt? Yes or no?
Again, Congressman,
yes or no?
I think it's important to look at framing here.
Okay, I'm reclaiming my time. It's clear that you're not going to answer the questions that are asked. And let me make it real simple for you. The Bush tax cuts added to the debt. The second round of Bush tax cuts added to our national debt. The last Trump tax cuts added to our national debt, and every expert will tell you that the proposed Trump tax cuts will also add to our national debt. That is the honest answer, and I would have expected you could have just given us a yes or no on whether or not these preposterous tax cuts that will benefit clearly the most wealthy people, the people who don't need a tax cut in this environment, will add to our national debt. This is bad public policy, it's bad for the American taxpayers, it's bad for our economy, and it's atrocious for our future in regard to the national debt, and I yield back.
The lawmaker opened by laying out a sharp contrast. Just months ago, the United States was writing record-low unemployment, steady growth, and easing inflation. Since President Trump returned to office, that picture has shifted. Trade wars have returned to the headlines, markets have grown more volatile, and consumer confidence has slipped. These are not just political talking points. This speaker formally entered evidence into the congressional record, including consumer sentiment surveys. From the University of Michigan, data showing trade wars disrupting shipping and supply chains, and an OECD analysis warning of a broader economic slowdown in the United States. If you want continued breakdowns like this that go beyond the sound bites, subscribe now and stay informed. But the criticism did not stop at the economy's current direction. Lawmakers zeroed in on the administration's signature reconciliation bill and proposed budget, warning that the long-term consequences could be severe. Independent analysts from across the political spectrum have weighed in, including the Congressional Budget Office, the Joint Committee on Taxation, Yale University, the University of Pennsylvania, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, and the Bipartisan Policy Center. Their conclusions largely align. The legislation would add trillions of dollars to the national debt. That matters because higher debt increases interest costs, crowds out public investment, and limits the government's ability to respond to future crises. If you want clear explanations of how policy choices today shape tomorrow's economy, hit subscribe so you do not miss the next report. The human impact may be even more striking. According to these same expert projections, nearly 16 million Americans could lose access to healthcare, while roughly 11 million could lose nutrition assistance. Those are not abstract numbers. They represent families deciding whether to delay medical care, seniors choosing between prescriptions and groceries, and children facing food insecurity. Hearings like this pull back the curtain on how those decisions are justified and who bears the cost when projections become reality. For continued coverage that explains what Washington decisions really mean for everyday Americans, subscribe now and stay engaged.